This video contains spoilers for Infinity Train books 1 through 4. So, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I promise not to spoil you if you get off the video right now. Okay, let's just start. Hi everyone, welcome to SpongeLiam Discussions. Finally glad to have this series up and running. Now anyways, you ready to talk about the kidnapping train? Infinity Train is a Cartoon Network / HBO Max show created by Owen Dennis that is absolutely incredible. It's animation, storytelling, writing, music, everything is amazing. The show might not be like groundbreaking in like the traditional representation sense, but it just sure as hell so unique compared to the rest of the Western animation scene. It tackles so many different issues that traditional kids animated series don't usually cover, and is handled all so well in every aspect. So of course it's cancelled. Too dark for kids, huh? What? At what point does this show get dark?
You're no person.
Ignoring those bits. Anyways, yes, this is an Infinity Train ranking video, I'm glad you noticed. If the show is truly over forever, I might as well go through all of it at least one more time. Now, why am I doing this ranking video when I've never done one of these before? For simple reasons! Number 1! I said I would use this series for something and I still haven't, so might as well. Number 2! I mean, I felt like it. Number 3! If all these trends and stuff aren't going to work, I just am going to have to take action into my own hands. So my current goal is to earn enough money to buy Cartoon Network. I will buy Cartoon Network and force them to make 4 more books of Infinity Train, and hopefully this video will help my channel make that money, because I don't have enough money to do that all on my own. I am sure this will perfectly work out in the end. Anyways, it's a lot to cover since I'm ranking all of Infinity Train, so let's start by going over Book 1! Also, yes, I'm going to rank each season's episodes separately before combining them into one list at the end. I need to leave you with some suspense, so you hopefully stay to the end, because I need to make some money so I can buy out Cartoon Network. Listen, I'm sure it'll be pretty easy. I can't make money off this channel yet, but this video will hopefully earn $1 billion. So in terms of each season of Infinity Train, Book 1 might be the simplest out of all the books, which makes sense since it is the first book. We really don't know as much about what is going on compared to all the future seasons, so this one is more focused on the mystery of it all. Like, what are these numbers? How and why did I get trapped on this train? Where do I use the bathroom? Yeah, stuff like that. Now of course this doesn't mean it's bad, far from it. I was blown away the first time I watched Book 1. It's still absolutely incredible, which means the ranking of this will be a bit hard. I did it already, so let's just go. Number 10, The Beach Call. It's kinda sad that the episode that introduces both Randall and the cat is this low in terms of rankings, but I don't think it's the most memorable episode. It's still the very beginning of the show, so maybe it's just partly because of that, but I really don't think of this episode in the general picture of Book 1 that much, besides, you know, the plot important bits. It's good, I like it, I like Randall, but it's not the most memorable and incredible episode. Though it's where the title of the book comes from, so I guess it has that. Oh, and Randall, never mind, 10 out of 10! Number 9, The Crystal Call. Now, this is a really fun episode. Very joke-focused, and two songs from the heart being word up is hilarious. I think I've never even listened to the original version, so this episode is all I have to go off of. Why did I say that so fast? And this face is beautiful. 100 out of 10 to whoever drew this face. I guess the main reason it's so low is another memorability thing. With both this and The Beach Call, it's not so much that I don't remember them, it's more about them standing out from the rest, and for me, they don't stand out as much as other episodes, which makes them a bit more forgettable in the grand scheme of things, in the season or even the whole show. The puzzle and call in this one might be one of the more simpler ones. In terms of the show, which is probably part of the issue. Same especially goes for the beach call. Like, this call is just a beach. It has Randall, but doesn't even have an exit door, I think. When this is a show with a giant pig baby call, it really doesn't stand out that much. Anyways, yeah, the last 2 episodes are still good, it's just not the best of the show, it's awful. Anyways, moving on. Number 8, the Corgi Call. It's the pilot, the one that got everybody so hyped about the show even before it came out or was picked up. Of course, it's a pretty great episode. Now, of course, this episode is also an introduction to Atticus, the best dog ever. Why? Because I said so. Then the main issue this episode has is the 7-minute long pilot with 3 extra minutes attached to it to make it, a normal episode length. So some parts feel a bit better in terms of pacing in the pilot. Like this episode has a message for Tulip that feels a bit messily attached for story purposes, but it's still a really fun and important episode in terms of the show. I talk so fast it hurts my voice. Number 7, the Grid Call. From the actual pilot to the show's pilot, and man, what a great setup for the story. Immediately going into a topic a lot of other kid shows don't go into, that being divorce, and then immediately getting on the train for Tulip to almost die in the first episode, and combined with this person who looks like they died without context for the rest of the show. Yeah, this episode did a great job of getting me invested with the show and made me think, oh, this is a dog show. Great opening and setup. I know it got me excited for what would come next. Number 6, the engine. Dang it, this is when things get hard. I kept debating on this choice for a while because this is still a great episode. It could have been a great finale if they went the miniseries route with this show. That's what I thought they were going to do at first. But honestly, I enjoy other episodes better. Great conclusion for Tulip. All of the main developments have already been done. So whole fighting for Atticus makes sense for a conclusion. Also, the 1-1 twist was really well handled. Congratulations. I'm snapping because I'm holding a microphone, so I can't clap. But this snapping is to show that I am applauding. Yeah. Anyways, just a great conclusion and episode in general. Number 5, the Chrome Call. Lake's introduction to the show and is handled really well. It puts Tulip in a situation where she has to directly face herself and who it should become over the past however long this divorce thing has been going on. And help someone who isn't herself, also herself. You know what? None of this makes sense. My script doesn't make sense here. I don't know what I'm saying. It's a cool concept for an episode. I like it. It sets up book 2. Okay, moving on. Number 4, the Past Call. This is sadly the closest we'll get to Amelia book now that the show's been cancelled. But hey, it's still really good. It's really the conclusion to Tulip's character arc as she gets her door in this episode, and it's handled really well. All the Amelia stuff as well is handled pretty great. It's pretty much all handled well, and I appreciate things that are handled well. Which is why I don't like my own content and Ballin' Wonderworld. Number 3, the Unfinished Call. Great job, episode. You made me scared of a white ball. Really, this episode is incredible. Seeing 1-1 go crazy trying to fix everything is kind of scary. No, it is scary. And having all these hints of Amelia's backstory contained in the very background of this episode is such a genius idea. Like I said, it's an incredible episode and one of the highlights of the season. Number 2, the Cat's Call. Hey, who's ready to experience some emotional trauma? Going through Tulip's history before the first episode and how she got into this angry and sad state she is in by the first episode is really ingenious. And honestly, a realistic type of scary. Like imagine being forced to go through your own traumatic memories. Yeah, that one. That one as well. All of them. It isn't a pleasant time, I swear, I've done it before. Not really. I'm lying. For the sake of comedy. The tape format from this episode is also a really great visualizer. So much that I unintentionally store it without realizing it. So sorry, Owen. Absolutely incredible episode. But my favorite is the one where the dog gets shot. Let's go!
Hi, my name is Owen Dennis, and the creator of Infame Train. Let's kill a dog!
No!
Number 1, the Ball Pit Call. This episode is, how do I say it? Absolutely incredible. And it also started the tradition of me not trusting the 8th episode of every season of the show. It's a fun train adventure slowly turning into this dark and scary experience when Tulip finally meets Amelia. And it's done in such an incredibly well way, and that ending shook me to my core. The first time I saw it, I did not see it coming. It's the best of season 1 and probably one of the best of the series as well. And that was book 1. Overall, a pretty great start for the series, but I have some of my more general thoughts about it saved for the ranking at the end. Anyways, book 2! Book 2 is most likely to be the forgotten season when it comes to Infinity Train as a whole. I say that not because Book 2 is bad, it's incredible because it's Infinity Train. But Book 1 is the opening, Book 3 is freaking insane at points like holy crap, and Book 4 is the unjustified early ending. So compared to those, Book 2 might not stand out as much. Especially considering I keep discovering some people don't even know it existed, and thought the show ended at Book 1, or it never even became a show. God, that hurts, because Infinity Train Book 2 is absolutely incredible. And I'm going to rank it now. Number 10, The Parasite Call. This episode brought us a lot of cool shots of this steel, and I don't like that. I mean, I think the episode's still good. It's not really the most great episode or the most memorable one. Kind of feels like just another adventure with characters in the grand scheme of things, but maybe I don't like it. Now, who am I kidding? It's Infinity Train. I basically like every episode, no matter what it does. Number 9, The Map Call. Really great dynamic between Jesse and Lake. The call's concept is cool as well, and I like how it has a map-like style. But besides all that and the ending, this episode is just good. Not amazing, not terrible, just good. Number 8, The Black Market Call. I'm starting to notice that the first half of each season is usually its weakest. Anyways, great reintroduction to Lake and what she has to deal with, and also a nice introduction to Alan Dracula and my main man Jesse. I guess the only issue is it's mainly just a chase scene, but that's fine by me because it's a fun chase scene, and it sets up the flex, the abilities, and how they really don't like Lake, like they really just don't like her.
Number 7, The Family Tree Car Radical.
It's really just a continuation of the setup from Black Market, but having Lake and Jesse, you know, have to work together on this tree thing for the first time is a really fun thing on this weird tree thing. This tree is really weird. Number 6, The Lucky Cat Call. The cat's back. Oh, and Grace and the Apex were introduced. It sets up the question if denizens of the train can actually leave the train. A lot happens, and it's all pretty great. But I like other episodes better, which is kind of hard to say. It's a really sad thing when something is so great, but you still have to put things above it, because this show is too great. Number 5, The Tape Call. You love creepy and weird visuals? Then you'll love this one. Seeing how people get on the train is really cool, and really weird, and really gross, and really creepy. And the ending where Lake gets mad and starts destroying things hurts so much. Honestly, just a great episode. Number 4, The Number Call. Hey look, it's the one right after the last one. Great ending for Lake and Jesse, even if the solution to the problem is literally a reflection. Also, look at that blood. That's technically blood everywhere and you can't deny it. Also, the ending is super sweet and satisfying. I just love it, man. Number 3, The Toad Call. I just love this one. Why do I love episodes? I hate loving episodes, because it means I like them. Having Jesse and Lake trapped together forced to talk with each other with the constants at the flex right outside the door is a great situation for character growth, and is handled so well for an episode that takes place in a single room where you have to kick a toad. I like this one a lot. Number 2, The Mall Call. I probably said that weird, and I'm not going to tell you why. Set up for next season time. It's such a great Jesse story, having the Apex's actions lead him to finally learning to stand up for himself and his friends is kind of genius, and really made me hate the Apex, or like, holy crap, I hated children. Also, the ending is heartbreaking. Hooray! Number 1, The Wasteland. Okay, let's get to the elephant in the room. They aired this on Cartoon Network. What? What? Seriously? Oh my god. It's just straight up insane. It blew my mind the first time I saw it. It's one of the darkest things I've ever seen on children's television. It's just, wow. They promoted the show alongside Sesame Street. Anyways, this episode is a straight up masterpiece. It's tense, scary, and heartbreaking throughout. Having Lake being trapped alone with the person she despises most, as he is constantly telling her that she isn't a real person. She isn't real. None of them are. It's honestly incredibly dark and heartbreaking and makes the ending so well deserved. This episode deserves awards. It didn't win any, but I'm going to pretend it did because it's better that way. Anyways, yeah, Book 2 is another great season of Infinity Train. I could not even do it justice, especially the ending of the Wasteland. I did not do that justice. It's insanely good. But let's get on to the really insane season now. If I could describe Book 3 of Infinity Train in one sentence, it would probably be pure insanity. This season is amazing. It's a story about really bad people and how you could either try to get better from your mistakes or die never realizing you was a villain. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I honestly cannot put my thoughts in the words on how much I absolutely love this season. And ranking it might be the hardest out of the whole series. But I said I would do it, so it's already ranked. Number 10, the debutante ball call. It's a great thing when the weakest of the season is still a pretty great episode. Hazel and Grace's relationship really shines here, and it sets up the idea that Grace can change as a person because she is able to follow the rules of the call for Hazel's sake. It's great stuff, I barely give it justice. Number 9, the Canyon of the Golden Winged Snakes call. This and the episode that follows it are always sort of blended together in my mind, so it's hard to rank them, but I think this one is slightly lower due to it being a bit, more uneventful. Great reintroduction to Amelia, and its ending truly makes you wonder, what's coming next? Some crazy crap, that's what I say. Number 8, the hey ho whoa call. And here's what comes next. It's one of the most tame episode 8s of the show, but it's still a great episode. From everybody finally learning who Hazel is, to the ending that shows that Simon is finally fully breaking down. It's great stuff, and it sets up the next episode, which holy crap, I cannot wait to talk about these episodes. Number 7, the musical call. It's really just set up for the rest of the season, but it's some dang good setup, man. It's cool to see a call we've been to before with different characters, returning to it than, the first time we saw it. That's a bit weird way of describing it. Also, the opening sequence is pretty great. I like musicals. Musicals are cool. Great stuff. Number 6, the jungle call. Our introduction to Hazel and Tuba, and it's a good one. Having Simon and Grace alone leads to a pretty fun dynamic, and it contrasts with the ending of the season really well. Also, since I mentioned returning to calls earlier, this episode is returning to a call we've only seen on a poster before. Which is really neat how they all tied it together like that. It's a fun one. Wait, but does that mean Tulip met Hazel, or did she just somehow avoid them? Are all these the same call? They look like the same. I'm ignoring that question. Number 5, Le Chat Chalet call. I hope I said that right. This is a really great episode in terms of exploring how Simon became the way he is. The cat, or I guess Samantha, is always fun, and Randall. Wow, 100 out of 10 for that alone. Number 4, the origami call. Intense, scary, and sad. This one leads directly into the finale of the season, and it does it perfectly. Going through the history of how the Apex formed through Grace's memories is great. Hazel exiting the show is great, and sad, and the ending is chillingly great. It's an incredible episode. Number 3, the color clock call. If I could compare this to another episode in the show, it would be the ball pit call from book 1. A fun episode that turns dark, and this is the exact same. I could have never seen that ending coming, like ever. It turns from 0 to 100 insanely fast. And when you think that is it, boom, Hazel's a turtle now. What a shockingly great episode. Number 2, the campfire call. Need some breath. Now, when dealing with the topic of death in a kid's show, it's always very different depending on how much the network is willing to allow. Some shows can't even say dead or killed. Some can't even touch on the show ever. Infinity Train in this episode literally goes all out. Having a funeral held that will make you cry, don't deny it, it's making me cry thinking about it. It's an absolutely incredible episode. Okay, enough crying, it's time for dying. Number 1, the new Apex. This episode is wow. It will leave you shocked to your absolute core after seeing it. It's 11 minutes of saying, what the hell? Just 11 minutes of saying, what the hell, repeatedly, on the edge of your seat. And hey, it's a great example of why you're watching a kid's show if anyone tries to use it as an insult. I also love how it's not a definitive ending for these characters. Grace still has some ways to go before getting off the train, if she ever gets off the train. It's a bittersweet ending, which is why it works so well. So yeah, Book 3 is the craziest Infinity Train season. So it's time for something a lot simpler. Book 4! Book 4 is fun. It is just fun. It never gets super dark like the previous seasons, and I'm okay with that. supposed to be a sort of break season in terms of the show, but then cancellation, so it accidentally ended up as the ending of the show. But let's still go over it. Number 10, the Big Baby Call. This is a weird one. I think it's good. It's a very weird, very weird, just because of the concept alone. But hey, now I can insult myself with this line, so thank you, Mr. Weird Episode. Number 9, the Iceberg Call, introducing the best talking bell in animation. I think Kez really is the only option there for that award, but I don't care. Yeah, this is a fun one with the concept alone, but it's mainly just set up for the rest of the season, and Ryan and Mingi's fighting can be a little annoying at points. Still good though. Number 8, the Old West Call. Another really fun one. The Old West town filled with bugs is a simple concept, but it works, especially due to everyone being after the main characters due to Kez's previous actions, which is a very common plot point this season. It's the closest to infinite fun the show gets! It's number 7, the Astro Q Call. We don't need to rap, because that's dumb. This one is the one that truly shows both Ryan and Mingi have issues to work through, rather than just Ryan. And it shows the worst in Mingi. Also, the ending is cool. I like this one. I say that for every episode. Number 6, the Mega Maze Call. An emotional confrontation between Ryan and Mingi followed by a fun chase makes for honestly a great episode. Probably the least insane episode 8 of the entire show, but episode 7 came before it, so I think we're good here. Also, it made me cry, but I'm too afraid to admit it. Okay, so all these characters like Gale. Number 5, the Train to Nowhere. A finale episode that does really well at tying up everything nicely, which is pretty neat when the finale of the last season did Mortal. Of course, it's not a great series finale, besides the name. I know it was unintentional, but it's a great name for a series finale. But it wasn't designed to be that. But it's still a fun season finale. Also, thank goodness the show definitely has a certified bop under its roof before ending. I know I'm the only one who certified it, but I say it's a bop, so it's a bop. Number 4, it's time to party, guys. It's the party call. Whoa! Anyways, this episode starts with lore. This one is great in terms of character growth and interactions. It's really just a sweet episode. I don't know what else to put. I wrote something in my script, but I don't want to say that. Yeah, they sit in a bathtub. Whoop-de-doo! Number 3, the Castle Call. Hey, it's time for some more backstory! Finding out what happened with Kez right before the start of the season, and the sad story of Jomi. Ending with Amelia's takeover of the train happening right in front of us. That would have been really cool to see in action in book 5. It's a good episode, I'm just really salty. Number 2, the Alt Gallery Call. Hey, we got to the dark one this season. Having Ryan and Mingi finally lash out at each other was great, followed by this horrifying monster attacking, and Ryan unexpectedly getting his door. It's just 11 minutes of greatness. But for some reason, I like the first episode of the season better. Number 1, the Twin Tapes. Dedicating an entire episode off the train is something the show hasn't really done before. But honestly, this episode made me wish they did more backstory episodes like this. Going through the entirety of both Ryan and Mingi's life through this tape setup and the split life perspective is genius. And the ending revealing this is a prequel to the show is so cool. Great opening, I love it. And there we go, every episode talked about and reviewed. Sure, most of my reviews were just, this episode is great because the show is great. But who cares, because it is great. And I am now going to rank everything at once, starting with... hey everybody, hi, it's Future Liam here to improve this section of the video. And by Future Liam, I mean really Future Liam, like that section was recorded in early May. It's the end of August now. So to keep you waiting for the big ranking at the end, I've decided to use this section to rank the books against each other, and to also do general reviews of each book, on its own. But the initial script of this video didn't do that well enough, so here was this. Number 4, Book 4, Duet. The fourth and last season, unfortunately. Not because it's a bad season, it can't be, because it's Infinity Train. But it's not really an ending, not even remotely. The whole season is essentially a tease of seeing Amelia's takeover of the train as we see it happen through teases throughout the story. And it was also meant to serve as a break season, since season 3 was before it, and yeah, I think it's nice to have a break after that. But the show was cancelled because of stupid reasoning, so it ended up being the ending, which is disappointing for every reason besides the season's quality itself. Yeah, it is a very different book compared to the rest, for multiple reasons. It was the only book to be released all at once, meaning I viewed it in a completely different way, and as for tone and story, it's definitely has a break, as it's way less dark and depressing compared to previous seasons. It's sort of actually infinite fun at points. It still works really well though, due to its writing and emotional beats. Ryan and Mingi are great. I love how they play off each other, and though the story is simple, like I said, the writing and emotional beats work really well. I actually started tearing up during this part during the Mega Maze call. Was it because it was 10 o'clock at night? Was I tired? Or was it because I'm a wimp? Yeah, it probably means I'm a wimp, but that's okay. I also love Kez. She's essentially the comic relief of this season, but she's also given a character arc that we haven't really seen for most side characters like this before in the show, and I think that is neat. She really is the cause of most of the problems Ryan and Mingi face on each call, but that element really works well, having it feel like our characters always have someone after them, and they don't just know it yet. So yeah, I enjoyed Kez as a character. She was really fun. Is that all I have? I guess so. So yeah, Book 4 is a really fun and great season. The only reason it is lower is because it does feel separated from the rest of the show, mainly due to it having less dark moments and depressing scenes. But that's okay. It still works really well and is great for its own reasons. So check it out, please. Just check out the whole show. If you got this far in the video, you better be watching this show. I mean, number 3, Book 2, Cracked Reflection. That is a lot of numbers. Yeah, this was a hard choice. I am still constantly switching my mind on which is better between this and Book 1. But I've made up my mind well enough to finish this video, so I kind of have to say that I like Book 1 slightly more. I've decided, this is my final choice. I probably am going to switch this in like an hour after recording this. So let's just do a review. Like I said earlier, Book 2 is likely to be the forgotten season despite its greatness. It doesn't just seem as important as other seasons, some for some dumb external reasons and forces. And I feel when it premiered in January of 2020, it wasn't seen or talked about as much as Season 1, or especially the pilot. Now this could be for a multitude of reasons. The show was still on, actual Cartoon Network, people just didn't care and were satisfied with only the 4th season story, it was January of 2020, oh boy, but none of the reasons why people didn't watch it or talk about it matter, because dang, this is a good season. It feels more like a sequel than any other book. The decision to focus on Lake was a great change of perspective and makes it feel like a natural continuation. Also, she is a great character that really contrasts with who Tulip was, and she has great development, and oh yeah, this season has Alan Dracula and my main man Jesse, probably the best trio out of any season of the show. The only thing that makes me put it lower than Book 1 is I feel the aspect of mystery in Book 1 worked slightly better than this season, despite both of them having amazing stories. And there are a couple of episodes, same goes for Book 1 though, but they are only really in Infinity Train terms, meaning they're still pretty good episodes. I could continue on praising and going on and on about how good the season is, but just understand that, yeah, it's a great season of television. Number 2, Book 1, The Perennial Child. Did I say that right? I don't know, this is a mouthful. Okay, let's keep this one sweet and quick. The full season, and it works wonderfully. Going in, I was not exactly sure what to expect out of this show, but Book 1 delivered on all aspects. It has more of a mystery aspect than any other season, and it worked wonderfully by the way they aired it initially. And it kept me invested, it kept me there. It has the perfect balance of comedy, dark moments, and emotion. Tulip, 1-1, and Atticus are such a fun trio, and oh yeah, it's Infinity Train, so great writing, directing, and animation all expected. Such a great full season, probably one of the best ones of any show I've ever seen. But oh boy, that Book 3. Number 1, Book 3, Call of the Conductor. Let's do this, I guess. Okay, so I have some things written down here to get a good, start into the review of this. But I think the only thing I need to say is that this season is depressing as hell. Book 3 of Infinity Train is a, crazy season, let's get that out of the way. It's a season about leaders of a cult of children. I was always intrigued on how they would do it since it was announced, but the way they do it is so ingenious and built into what the show set up. The show has always been about redeeming yourself, and or growing as a person. And this season shows how that might not always be possible for some people. The writing and characters here are amazing. Grace and Simon both start off as people you most likely hate, and how the opposite developments help you change how you view them is really well done. Hazel is amazing, so how much she is put through really hurts, especially considering her story ends with no ending essentially. Oh boy. Tuba similarly is extremely depressing. Most of the other characters this season that aren't evil have storylines end with some possible hope for the future. Tuba dies, and she has a tragic backstory. It's really depressing on that front. Oh, and I guess Amelia is some sort of main character for a few episodes, and it still works really well. So yeah, book 3 is filled with so much depressing storytelling, but it works amazingly well due to its great writing, characters, etc, etc. Can I just say great everything at this point? Because I think so, because book 3 of Infinity Train is amazing in nearly every aspect. So yeah, that is it I guess. Back to SpongeLiam for now, I guess. I might come back. I'm not sure. Wait, am I gonna... Okay, I guess I'm leaving. Adios! Infinity Train consists of 40 episodes, and I said I'd rank every single one of them. After seeing everything I said so far, you should know that this show is one of my favorites, so it's gonna be very hard to do, but I said I would do it. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, ready, set, the parasite call, the map call, the pig baby call, the beach call, the iceberg call, the crystal call, the black market call, the family tree call, the debutante ball call, the corgi call, the canyon of golden winged snakes call, the astral Q call, the hey ho whoa call, the old west call, the mega maze call, the grid call, the train to nowhere, the party call, the musical call, the jungle call, the castle call, the lucky cat call, the engine, the chat chalet call, the chrome call, the tape call, the owl gallery call, the number call, the past call, the toad call, the unfinished call, the mall call, the origami call, the colored clock call, the campfire call, the cat's call, the twin tapes, the ball pit call, the new apex, the wasteland. Do I even know how to say call anymore? Oh my god. Jeez. That was a lot, but I am now done winking all of Infinity Train, and this list doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the slightest. Infinity Train is such a great, well-made, amazing show. So many episodes are just on par with each other in greatness. So ranking one above the other doesn't really matter that much. I am still constantly switching my opinions, you know, as time goes on, because this video took months to make for some reason. Infinity Train is just a great show, and I wanted to talk about it and give it some support. And, also get enough money to buy HBO Max and Cartoon Network. Yeah, I upped my goals. So, yeah, Infinity Train is such a great show. I'd love another season or 4. Please and thank you, HBO Max. And you better do it fast, because I'm gonna buy you with all the money I made from this video. Which, now that it's over, it should be... Does Monopoly money count?